Welcome to Chesterfield, Virginia. Not far from NASCAR spotlight on the south side of Richmond is where it all began for Denny Hamlin. Even growing up around horses and basketball hoops, at a very young age, Denny knew exactly what he wanted to be.
We used to watch NASCAR races on TV, and he'd come in there and he would sit on my lap, and he knew what driver belonged to what car, all the numbers, how many points they had, and he would tell me he was going to do that for a living.
He was about 3 years old and really just putting sentences together. And every time you'd ask him, what are you going to be when you grow up? And he'd say, I'm going to be a race car driver.
The road started at the age of 7 when Father Dennis put his son in a go-kart.
The first day I set him in a go-kart, took him out to one of the racetracks, and I bought him just a cheap racing go-kart, something used. And I watched that boy drive, and I said, he's got the talent. I said, there was no doubt in my mind he had the talent.
That talent didn't take long to surface. Exactly one race into his career, Denny won. And for the next 3 weeks, where Denny went, his trophy went too.
He took his go-kart trophy to school and with his uniform or suit and everything and told his class he wanted to be a NASCAR driver, and they laughed at him. So I'd like to say to those kids, who's laughing now?
The wins came faster and faster. In his parents' living room alone, over 200 trophies. Soon the boy from Southside Speedway was catching on, and nobody was laughing anymore.
Denny Hamlin is a local driver who's on the fast track to making it big. Megan's out at RIR with more on this young talent. Megan?
With 140 victories and 8 track championships already under his belt, Southside Speedway's Denny Hamlin is literally on the fast track to becoming a star on the NASCAR circuit.
That's the ultimate dream, is to make it to Winston Cup or Busch.
The hope is Denny's youth, coupled with his experience and success this year, will get him noticed, so that next season he can take that step onto the big-time racing scene.
But even with the on-track success, money was tight and eventually ran out.
I said, I'm broke. I said, we've done hot and sold everything we got.
Come in here towards the end of the season, and Denny's dad told me that they were done. They were done racing. I said, what do you mean you're done racing? He said, we're out of money. And I said, well, what do you need? And he goes, well, we blew the engine up. And I told him, well, you go get the engine built, I'll pay for it, just put my name on the hood the rest of the year.
With that, 5 days later, Denny had a brand new engine. Before the next race, he promised Ron Roberts he would win for his new sponsor, and sure enough, he did. But when money became an issue again before the final race of the 2002 season, Mom's determination and a case of being in the right place at the right time kept the dream alive.
His dad would say, we got to stop it here. And of course I would say, well, you know, we've gone this far, we got to go as far as we can.
You know, it just got so expensive that it come to a point where I said, son, unless you go out here and do this on your own, I'm not going to be able to take you any farther.
They were waiting in line to sign in, and Jim Dean was a couple people behind him and had heard him say that he wasn't going to be able to run Myrtle Beach, and so he approached him and told him, you know, to contact him.
With Dean's backing, Denny was dominant in 2003. 36 races, 30 poles, 26 wins, and 32 top 5 finishes. Some say it was one of the greatest seasons in short track racing history. And soon the big names came calling, even though they weren't looking for Denny.
Joe Gibbs was looking for a couple late models for his varsity program.
It just so happened that Denny was going out and making sure the car was set up for these 5 drivers that Joe was, you know, kind of interviewing for the job. And they were real impressed with the times he was turning out there. We were actually turning better, quicker than track record times on tires that had 50 laps on them.
Denny took the car out, and I watched him, and I said, man, he's got it going on right there.
As the test ended, Curtis and I were riding back together, and I said, Curtis, I said, he is something special. We were talking about Denny. And Curtis said, I believe he's probably one of the best I've seen in a long, long time.
He was kind of joking and says, you know, if you got any Busch testing that you'd like for me to do, just give me a call and I'll do it in a joking manner. And it was about a month later he got a call, and next thing you know, zoom, here he goes.
Zoom is right. With that phone call, the Hamlin-Gibbs relationship was born. Denny quickly became a top 10 Busch Series driver, but it was his initial weeks as a Cup Series driver that caught the eye of the racing world. Piloting the FedEx car, Denny quickly soared where rookies dare to go, with pole positions, top 10 finishes, and of course, wins. Hamlin quickly put the FedEx team on the map.
The bottom line is he can wheel a car, and he's got a good gift a lot of guys don't have as far as feedback and a lot as far as knowing how far you can push it without pushing it too far. And obviously you've seen that with his few races he had in Cup, getting the pole and then running the way he's run. You just don't do that. It just doesn't happen.
I think he's got a lot of potential, a lot of God-given talent, and where he goes with it and what he does with it and how we help him from here is sky's the limit with Denny, I believe.
Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, they were all impressive. I ran Busch cars with both of them, actually, and they impressed me. It's been a while since I've seen anybody with the talent that Denny has.
With lofty comparisons like that, you'd better believe back in Chesterfield, the Denny Hamlin fan club is growing by the minute.
We went to high school, we went to Manchester, and we walk in the door and the principal's standing there with a video camera following me and Denny down the hallways. And we walked by and a bunch of our teachers come outside and hugged him, and he was signing autographs. And we walked in the main office and they got all his newspaper articles laminated. A lot of people jumping on the Denny Hamlin bandwagon for sure, which, I mean, that's cool though.
I can't get no work done. People just want to come in and talk racing to me, and it's every other person. And, Denny Hamlin, like, yeah.
Has Denny changed at all? I don't think so. Denny's still Denny.
He always set the example for people. Never once in the time I've known Denny if I thought, no, you shouldn't have done that. I mean, he's always been the leader in the pack.
It gives me a big chill all over thinking of everything he has succeeded and accomplished, because to know him as a person is just so much more than Denny the race car driver.
He has the opportunity to do a lot of stuff that guys dream about. Never really get a chance to do, but he's got a chance to do it. We think he's in great equipment, has great sponsor, obviously, in FedEx, and we look forward to a big future from him.